Today, we're recapping the 2018 movie The Commuter. Michael MacCau is an ordinary man who follows the same routine every day. Before heading to work, he spends time with his wife Karen and helps their son Danny with his literature assignments. During their drive to the train station, Michael and Karen discuss their financial issues, especially with the looming tuition payments. Upon arriving at the station, Michael boards the train, which he's done for the last 10 years. He interacts with regular passengers such as Walt, and works as a life insurance salesman. But this day takes a sudden turn when his boss calls him into the office and informs him that he is being laid off after 10 years of service. Despite his plea about 2 mortgages, a son heading to college and his upcoming retirement, Michael is devastated and unsure of what to do next. He decides not to tell Karen about his firing, even when she calls to check in on his day and the payments. Later, Michael meets his longtime friend, Officer Alex Murphy, who was his former partner when he was a detective. They talk about life and a news report regarding the suspicious death of a city planner. Michael admits to Alex that he hasn't told Karen about losing his job, and they bond over the idea that doing the right thing doesn't always pay off. Back at the station, Michael starts noticing strange behaviors from some commuters. A man on the phone insists that he can't do something, another commuter bumps into him, and yet another talks about something big that's supposed to happen that night. Inside the train, a distressed woman and other passengers exhibit odd behaviors, including a loud businessman boasting about his wealth. A woman named Joanna sits next to Michael and starts a conversation, offering him a dangerous proposition. There's $25,000 hidden on the train, and he can have it if he helps find someone who doesn't belong. Someone named Prin, who is carrying something stolen and needs to be found before they reach the last stop. Joanna suggests that she knows Michael's past as a former cop and warns him not to share this task with anyone. Intrigued and desperate, Michael finds the money in the designated compartment, but is soon handed an envelope containing his wife Karen's wedding ring. Realizing that his family is in danger, Michael borrows a phone from a commuter and writes a note to Walt, asking him to contact the police. When Walt exits the train, Michael watches in horror as someone pushes him into the path of a bus. Joanna calls again and reminds Michael of the consequences if he tries to escape. Michael is now tasked with finding Prin and begins investigating the passengers. He encounters a stockbroker and a girl with fake IDs for her boyfriend. Eventually he confronts a tattooed man and a fight breaks out. Michael manages to plant a tracking device on the man, thinking he's done his part. However, the man turns out to be an FBI agent, and Joanna accuses Michael of identifying the wrong person. She warns him to stay on the train and complete his task, threatening his family's safety. Michael's mind races as he tries to piece together the puzzle. He recalls the faces of the passengers he has seen over the years, trying to identify anyone who might be new or out of place. The pressure mounts as he realizes the gravity of the situation. He decides to take a more methodical approach, starting from one end of the train and working his way to the other, scrutinizing each passenger. He questions a young woman with a large bag, but she turns out to be a student heading home for the holidays. Michael's frustration grows as he feels the clock ticking down. As the train nears Cold Spring, Michael grows desperate. He turns off the air conditioning in all but the last car, forcing all the passengers to gather in one car. He confronts a man in a red shirt and asks why he's on the train, but the man brushes him off. Frustrated, Michael raises his voice and openly speaks to the passengers about being fired and the task he's been given. He admits he's already taken the money and suspects 5 passengers might be Prin. When Michael follows a guitarist, Oliver, into an empty car, he discovers that Oliver is not Prin but an assassin sent to kill Prin. They fight, breaking a window, and Oliver tries to throw Michael off the train. Michael overpowers him and throws him off the train instead. Joanna calls again, urging Michael to take Oliver's gun, warning that it's either Prin or his family. The well-dressed man exits the train just before the Cold Spring stop, leaving Michael with 2 suspects. He rules out the girl with colorful hair. Michael then recalls a young woman who had changed seats after sitting next to an obnoxious passenger. He approaches her, and she's unaware of the situation, having been listening to music the entire time. Her name is Sophia, and it turns out that Prin is inspired by the character Hester Prynne from The Scarlet Letter. Joanna calls again, but Michael refuses to kill Sophia or turn her in. Frustrated, Joanna warns that everyone on the train will die because of his refusal. Michael quickly orders the conductor to stop the train, but the brakes explode, and the train barrels past FBI agents waiting at Cold Spring. The engineer is dead, and there's no way to stop the train. Michael and the conductor, Sam, try to disconnect their car from the rest of the train, but the front section derails and crashes. With Sam's help, Michael is thrown onto the last car just before the crash. As the train halts, passengers panic. Michael grabs their attention by firing his gun and orders everyone to cover the windows with wet newspapers. After things calm down, Michael asks Sophia what she has that the villains want. She reveals a flash drive containing information about the city planner, a friend of hers who knew something incriminating. She also explains that she couldn't go to the police because the killers were corrupt cops. The police arrive, believing Michael has taken the passengers hostage. Michael's former colleague Dave demands that he surrender, but Michael tries to calm the passengers. He starts piecing together that Alex is involved in the conspiracy. Initially, Alex denies it, but eventually, he admits that he set Michael up. He explains that he needed money too, and urges Michael to surrender if he wants to see his family alive again. As Alex searches for Sophia, the passengers start claiming to be Prin to protect her. Michael and Alex fight, and as they do, police snipers prepare to shoot. Michael outsmarts Alex, taking his tracking device to mislead the police. When Alex draws his gun, Dave orders the snipers to shoot, killing Alex. The SWAT team moves in, and Agent Garcia informs Michael that his family is safe, with 3 men arrested outside his house. Sophia gives her witness statement to the FBI, and the other passengers consider Michael a hero. Michael is reunited with his family and returns Karen's wedding ring. Dave suggests that Michael may be reinstated as a detective. Later, Michael is back on the train and encounters Joanna, who pretends not to recognize him. Michael suspects she orchestrated his firing and manipulated the events on the train. When she asks how he thinks things will end, Michael simply shows her his detective badge, hinting that he's ready to take her down. The movie ends.